We then get a look into the recent past as the city is being invaded. Daroka is there and she can only watch hopelessly as her home is being destroyed. Her neighbors are being ended right before her eyes, but is surprised to see that Maya is still alive. Maya has no clue what happened and explains that the humans just attacked suddenly. Daroka can't make sense out of it as she points out that they were getting along so well with the humans until recently. Daroka wants to go full Hogwarts and magic everything back to normal, but Maya says that they can't and points out that the humans have brought a machine that suppresses their magic. Maya tells Daroka to run and tell someone named Ophelia what is happening as she might be able to help. Daroka wants Maya to come with her, but doesn't seem to realize that Maya has a giant hole in her back that looks like the Grand Canyon, and she probably won't be able to stand up, let alone go on a trip. Maya tells her how to get to Ophelia's house, and we finally get to see the origin story of the great night puppet she had in prison. Maya won't let the gaping hole in her back stop her from making one last performance, and she uses a puppet to tell Daroka that she is a strong girl. This absolute showwoman hides the pain from her back cave, deepens her voice, and tells Daroka to run as quickly as she can. No one will be able to catch her, and she will be there before she knows it. Daroka takes the puppet and begins running as Maya says her final goodbye. She knows not to look back as she runs as fast as she can, and soldiers find Maya to finish off what they started. Back to the present, Adonis sits by Daroka's side after she has just been shot. He begs her not to die just yet, and desperately asks her how he can bring Chloe back from the dead. She tells him something about the witches that we can't hear, but he has to move away quickly as bullets rain down on her. Surrounded by soldiers, Adonis's rage can never seem to end, as he feels like he's being messed with. He was just given hope that Chloe could be brought back, but has no clue how to do it. The soldiers prepare to end Adonis' life, and the foolish Ikout, who stupidly shot the girl that was going to help Adonis, tells Yamamoto prematurely that Adonis is dead. However, we see that Adonis has picked up his quill, and he tells the humans not to get cocky. The soldiers then just watch as Adonis prepares his attack, and only after a few seconds do they decide to shoot. These guys fire every bullet they have, but it's no use as they just bounce right off of Adonis' magic barrier. Yamato can hear the fight from a mile away and doesn't like what's happening. Once Adonis is done demonstrating his power, he turns the bullets against the soldiers and ends them. Adonis doesn't even break a sweat as he ends the entire group, only leaving one bald-headed dude. I guess Ikout didn't just watch what happened as he decides that it would be smart to shoot at Adonis. Other than making a big scene, the bullet does nothing, and Ikout is shocked to see that Adonis easily stopped it. Adonis uses his written style summoning magic on the already pretty big bullet, and makes it way bigger. Only now does Ikout realize that it was a bad idea, but it's too late as Adonis demands that he die, and he sends the giant bullet back. Shooting Daroka in front of Adonis was bad enough, but shooting at Adonis proved to be worse, as Ikout is now just a pair of legs. Adonis calls all the humans powerless insects, and mocks them for thinking that they had any chance of beating him. Adonis speaks to the poor soul he left alive, as he wonders if the humans really thought that he would let them live in peace after killing Chloe. Everyone watches from Earlobe headquarters, as Adonis states that he will wipe every last one of the humans off the face of the planet. He vows to make them feel Chloe's despair. Yamato's completely powerless at this point, and just hopes that Yuki can carry out her mission in time. We then watch as Yuki is in awe of the crown jewel of science that once defeated the witches. Once activated, they will be able to suppress Adonis' magic. We then learn that Yamato is actually her big brother. Luckily for her, those cartoonish earlobes don't seem to run in the family, but she does hope that activating the machine will make her useful to her brother. Yuki rushes her men to get things started, but they are stopped by one of the 4 national bureaus of the Redia Empire, the National Science Agency. Director Theta states that she knew the Hot-Blooded Security Bureau would show up, and acknowledges how much Yuki has grown. Yuki is shocked to see Theta there, and we see that what Yuki lacks in earlobe, she makes up for with giant eyebrows. Theta won't allow them to activate the device, and Yuki demands an explanation. Back at headquarters, Yamato lifts his phone all the way around his giant earlobe to receive a call from Yuki, but is shocked to hear that it's actually Theta. Yamato tells her that he has no time to speak, as they are in a race against time, but he listens as what she has to say is of vital importance. She explains that the magic photon thingamajig cannot be activated. Science is the work of humanity that sheds light on the world. They have learned a lot, but there are still things that they don't understand. One of those things are the particles emitted by the device. She reminds him of the illness developed by soldiers who participated in the witch hunts 10 years ago, called human cellular dysfunction disease. They can't say for certain, but they believe these particles affected the human body, and this device kills cells. Yamato has never heard this before, but Theta explains that that's because they hid it. Unfortunately for the stupid humans, there are no more witches left to restore the natural environment. The atmosphere that would have cleansed these harmful rays is gone, and nature has fallen out of grace. As things are now, if a human body were exposed to a massive amount of particles, it would be destroyed. Yamato is more shocked than ever as he now realizes that it might have been the cause of Emperor Goeth's illness. A quick look back at the fight shows Adonis laughing maniacally as he easily stops more bullets from more soldiers, and the same thing happens to them. They are quickly losing the battle, and Yamato realizes this. Theta tells Yuki to return to the capital, but she takes off running for the device instead. She thinks about how they can't afford to worry about illnesses when the threat of magic is right before them, and remembers how her big brother left this task in her hands. Theta tells everyone to evacuate and begs Yuki not to activate the device, as even a little exposure could have major consequences. Yuki isn't listening at all as she states that her mission is of national importance, and the desperate girl activates the device. In the city, Adonis continues to laugh like a maniac, but is shocked when his magic is stopped. Everyone at headquarters sees that Adonis has dropped his quill, and Yamato desperately asks how Yuki is. Theta tells him that it was nothing, but we see that she and Yuki are severely injured. While Theta turns off the device, Yamato desperately wants to know what happened, but Theta reminds him to focus on the task in front of him. She questions if Adonis is really someone that they can't beat without suppressing magic, and asks him if they should really be having this much trouble against him. He recalls that his duty is to quickly exterminate those who harm the Empire, and she declares with great pride that they are Redia, the indestructible Empire. Yamato is inspired and commands all the units to charge. Adonis takes off in an attempt to get his quill, but it's too late as the soldiers are already prepared to fire. One very angry Karen gets in the line of fire, furious at Adonis for harming their nation. A building collapses between them and the other soldiers, but this one Karen couldn't care less and pulls out her thermal blade. Adonis wonders if he's finally going to die and is glad that he will be able to reunite with Chloe. The soldier doesn't hold back at all and takes his head off with one strike. The other soldiers can hardly see anything, but the girl eventually emerges from the smoke with Adonis's head. She states that she ended the witch's apprentice. Everyone celebrates and she is hailed as a hero. Everyone at headquarters celebrates as well, and Yamato sighs in relief. Yamato commends his troops but reminds them not to celebrate just yet. They still need to collect his body and confirm the damage done to each area of the city. Yamato is informed that the soldier that ended Adonis is a new recruit of the armored foot soldiers. His assistant wants to look into her further, but Yamato tells him to not bother as it's far more important to see how Director Theta and Vice Director Yuki are doing. The proud Yamato determines that Theta was right, their nation is strong. However, we see that Theta wasn't strong enough as her shredded up body is being taken away and so is Yuki. We then watch as Emperor Goeth gives another one of his classic and legendary speeches, with tubes seemingly coming out of every part of his body to keep him from flatlining mid-sentence. He announces that magic somehow survived and the abominable witches still remained in this world. The boy they took from the witches' hands 10 years ago has been unleashed upon the world, and it's the worst possible outcome. It's the long-term prisoner and witch's apprentice, Adonis. Despite being human like them, Adonis is a remnant of the terrible old world enthralled by magic. Goeth, showing what it would look like if life support needed life support, explains that even after 10 years, they have failed to determine how Adonis was able to use magic as a human. Goeth reveals that he is enraged at himself for allowing Adonis to live, but he assures his people by reminding them that the Redia Empire is the pinnacle of the world. The power of science they've acquired and their iron-willed troops will yield to no evil. Goeth, who looks like a USB charging station at this point, wraps up his speech by telling his people to be proud they were born human in the Redia Empire. This psycho states that the old world is gone. God is dead and their nation is now God. At some random school, we see that some girl was watching the speech on HM Tube. The teacher acknowledges that things haven't been easy as a few of their students have died, and we see that some plant is on a desk in remembrance of one of them. The teacher's pet asks why the witch's apprentice sided with the witches if he was a human, but the teacher has no clue. Class is over and he probably just wants to get the heck out of there. The red-headed girl is approached by another girl who states that she saw what she did. The redhead instantly knows what she is talking about, but defends herself by saying that it was a normal reaction to that situation. The girl decides to leave her alone, but the redhead still hopes that she yeets herself off the building. The redhead is named Eri, and she goes to the site of the destruction. She is furious at the Empire for not doing their job to protect the people, and we see that she was the girl whose boyfriend was begging for help. She hesitated to help him and ultimately decided to run for her life, leaving him to wonder why she would abandon him just before being crushed. She feels terrible for abandoning him, but even worse for being physically attracted to the guy using magic. A guy surprises her, and she can instantly tell that he is with the government. She tries to delete the photo she has of Adonis, but the man tells her that it's okay, and he will keep her secret. He points out that the witch's apprentice is the heinous criminal who caused the disaster, but he wouldn't snitch on her. Eri apologizes and takes her leave. We quickly find out that this guy's name is Oz Gorgeous, and he is a two-faced jerk. He makes a call to give the girl's exact location. He explains that she seems to have been influenced by the terrorist and orders that she be seized. He wants the National Security Bureau to decide what will happen to her, but he is certain that she will either be executed or imprisoned for treason. He exclaims that inspecting the disaster area is pretty exhausting, but is told that the final check is complete. Oz decides to return to base and tells the girl over the phone named Charmy to give him a hug and a kiss when he gets back. Charmy is obviously annoyed and requests that Chief Oz address her transfer request so she can get the heck out of there. She has had enough of working overtime every day and the boss who abuses their power and harasses her. Moving on from that though, she reveals that some unbelievable analysis just came in and asks Oz to return right away. As we see that Adonis is there, she shockingly reveals that the body they captured is a fake, and we see that Adonis wakes up somewhere else. Thanks for watching the first